Hello everyone, my name is Ramnik. Here's my experimental topic. It's monkey see, monkey do, the effect of social influence on selective exposure bias. And my non-experimental topic is group serving attribution across intergroup context, cultural differences in the explanation of sex type behavior. Okay, as I have said, my name is Ramnik. I'm a first year psychology student here in Canada. I was born and raised in Haryana. Well, I love to try new foods and travel to new places, meet new people. I guess that's it about me. Let's come to the topic. Here is the overview of experiment research. Okay, people tend to only listen to information that agrees with what they already think. This is called selective exposure bias. And it means that we tend to choose information that support our own ideas. The researchers wanted to figure out why this happened, and they found that people have different reasons for doing this. Some do it because it makes them feel more comfortable. Some do it because it feels good, and others do it because they want to be right. Some find it useful, or some people just want to save energy. Now, the researchers also looked into what other people say can influence this bias. They wanted to see if people get to know that this bias is not something most people do, would change the way they pick information. Now they thought that if people knew it wasn't normal, they might be less likely to stick to their opinions all the time. And guess what? The experiment showed that when people told that selective exposure bias is not common, it actually made a big difference. People were less likely to only listen to information that agrees with their own ideas. This suggests that what people say and think can really impact the way we choose information. Different kind of research used in this experiment. Okay, so experiment research allows researchers to establish a cause and effect relationship between variable by manipulating independent variable and observing their impact on dependent variable. Well, the experiment research is replicable and can be controlled. Also, the findings can be verified over time. So that's a plus point. On the other hand, non-experiment research observe and describe situation without manipulating variables. It provides insight into real-world situation, relationship, and behavior, and emphasize natural settings and descriptive analysis. Also, non-experimental methods may offer less precise measurements compared to experimental design, of course. So the objective here is in experiment research, scientists are figuring out why we tend to like information that agrees with us. They looked at psychological reasons but haven't explored if our friends or social media influences. They are asking if people around us makes us stick to our own ideas, understanding how other affect our preferences for information would help us know why we do what we do. In non-experiment research, the study focuses on group level attributions, not individual ones. It investigates if biases verbal attribution change based on the interviewer group identity and the presence of an in-group audience. Well, in simpler terms, it looked at whether people biased in making statements about group depend on who they were talking to and where they belong. Okay, so in first experiment, there were 181 girls around 19-year-old, mostly Caucasian. They took an online survey about hate speech attitudes. Procedure was simple and the study happened online, letting people do it whenever and wherever. Some group had more people because some left the study early. Okay, people were put into different groups randomly. One group was told it's normal to pick certain information. That group was SE norm. Another that it's not normal. That group was reverse SE norm. And the last group got no special instruction. Experiment purpose was the study wanted to understand how people choose information about hate speech based on their feelings. They were curious if saying it's not normal or not normal to pick certain information that would change how much people do it. Okay, the result was surprisingly accurate to what the researchers thought were true. Okay, when people were told that it's not normal to pick certain information, they did it less compared to when they were told it's normal. So, changing how we speak, how we talk about picking information can make people choose differently. It's like saying, hey, it's not usual to pick only what agrees with you, and seeing people actually do it less. And second experiment, the study aimed to reinforce our theory and subtly, by subtly exposing participants to a prior participant search behavior described as typical. Unlike experiment 1, where all information reflected choice on similar others, experiment 2 introduced dissimilar others. There were 128 undergraduates joined for course credit, 123 participants were selected, of which 45 Democrats and 77 Republicans participated. Design was simple, used a 2 by 2 experimental design. Participants were assigned randomly to bias norm conditions. Their task was simple. They have to choose different videos individually. The videos were about there were two videos. One video was Republican video and the second one was Democrat. So they wanted to know that what people choose based on their own experience and their information, I guess. The purpose was to investigate how bias norm and perceived similarities to other influence participants. Video selection aiming to understand the impact of subtle differences in video quality on political responses. In experiment 2, they mostly just observe and give instructions. Also, they told simple things that it's normal or not normal to, I guess, confuse the participants. Okay, when the result was when people go to choose in videos, they mostly went for ones that match their own views. If they were told it's normal to do that, even more people did it. But if they were told it's not normal, way fewer people did it. Basically, how we talk about what usual affect whether people stick to their own ideas. So saying it's not normal makes them less likely to only pick what agrees with them. So let's break it down. In these study, they looked at how we make choices like what to read or watch. In the first one, they talk about hate speech. They, if they said it's normal to pick certain info, more people did it. But if they said it's not normal, fewer people chose it. In second study about videos, it's like picking what shows to watch. If they said it's normal to choose videos that agrees with you, even more people did it. But if they said it's not normal, fewer people stuck to their own ideas. So the big difference here is, or the big deal here is, that the way we talk about things really affect what we decided to do, whether it's about sensitive topic or political stuff. The words we use can change how we make choices. Okay, so known experiment research topic revolves around the phage social identity theory. For those of you who don't know what social identity theory is, it's a psychological theory that explains and explores how individuals categorize themselves and others into social groups and how these social categories influence their perception and behavior. Also, we are going to use Beer theory, means, well, the Beer's theory suggests that attributions are influenced by audience, group, identity, and size. What he means is, like, people, how many people are there, what is the identity of the group, if they are strangers, their friends or families, that kind of thing. Okay. This paper anticipates that the study outcome will reveal the significant role of the audience size and identity in shaping attributions related to intergroup conflicts. It basically says that the study outcome will reveal if audience size and identity have a really big deal in shaping intergroup conflicts, like intergroup fights or disagreements of something. Okay, to do this, researchers started by talking to both guys and girls about what they thought made them, men and women, different from each other. After gathering these ideas, researchers checked if a lot of people agree with these differences. Researchers also created scenarios to see how people would explain behaviors related to these differences, especially when they knew others were watching. What we found was interesting. People generally agrees on some things about men and women, but when they knew they were being observed, they sometimes change their responses to fit in with the group. They looked at how guys and girls explain certain behaviors when it came to behaviors more associated with guys. Everyone tended to agree on explanation, but for behaviors more associated with girls, there was disagreement, especially when no one else was around. If there was an audience, the disagreement faded. This suggests that when it comes to explaining behaviors, especially those links to girls, people might change their views depending on who's watching. The person asking questions, interviewer, didn't really affect how people explain things. This adds more detail to their earlier research about how gender and social situation influence the way we explain things. Okay, so this was the result, and in the end, we are gonna see conclusion for experiment research. The experimental research search into decision making and information choices, examining the impact of framing and individual choices. Okay, this study shows that the language used to describe certain behaviors seriously influence people decision. For instance, when discussing in a sensitive topic like hate speech or selecting videos to watch, framing the choices as normal or not normal had a big effect. More people tended to align with the describe effect, giving the power of language in shaping decision making process. Okay, The conclusion for non-experimental research focused on understanding how individuals explain behavior, particularly those associated with gender. The study revealed interesting result in the explanation for behavior linked to girls. In situation where no audience was present, there was more disagreement among participants. However, the disagreement lessened when there was an audience, highlighting the influence of social context on the way people explain certain behaviors. Okay, well, guys, thanks for listening. And this is it. These are the end slide references. Okay, again, thanks everyone. Goodbye.